Okay then, day 2 of our travels brings us first to the Netcher Road Bridge outside of Jefferson, Ohio, and it spans the Mill Creek. And it is a fairly new bridge that was constructed in 1998 and opened to traffic in 1999. The county engineer at the time, named John Smolin, who ran an engineering firm, wanted to maintain and preserve the historical significance of covered bridges in the county. So he built some bridges and restored most of the rest of the bridges around the county. Now this bridge is an inverted Hout truss bridge with an arch. And Herman Hout, as a matter of fact, was a civil engineer that was born in 1817 in Philadelphia. He did time as a general in the Union Army, believe it or not, building and repairing bridges. And he rose to fame with his Hout truss design with the arch, building bridges for railroads. He built a number of bridges for the Pennsylvania Railroad. And as a matter of fact, one of the bridges that he built in 1854 is on display at the Railroad Museum in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Now, of course, the bridges that Hout built for the railroad were made out of steel. This particular bridge made out of wood. The wood was supplied by a timber grant from the Ohio Department of Transportation. And this particular bridge is 110 feet long with a clearance of 14 feet and 6 inches. Don't see any fishies. Check that out. So then we've traveled not too far away to the South Denmark covered bridge, back to an older bridge that was built in 1895 as a town truss design, and it's 100 feet long. No information about when it was rebuilt or improved. In 1975, they redirected the road around the bridge and built a iron bridge, which you can get a glimpse of in the background. So the main traffic doesn't travel across the bridge. It's off a little turnout now where you can park and enjoy the bridge without fear of being run over.
See that sign?
This one up here? Oh no.
Ready to make out?
So how are you doing with your covered bridge trivia? And why covered bridges are covered? See, it doesn't matter about the people. You get rained on your way to the bridge. You get rained on your way from the bridge. Why try to keep people out of the rain while they're on the bridge? So it's not about the people. But here's another hint. What's a covered bridge made out of? I'd be talking, but the sound's kind of messy from behind the camera, so we will just narrate over the video when we make the DVD. What was that? Big Bird. So the Kane Road Bridge is one of those fairly new bridges, and this one was built in 1986 in order to honor the Ashtabula County 175th anniversary. It's 120 feet long and goes across the west branch of the Ashtabula River in Pierpont Township. As you can see, it was designed and built by Smolin and Walter something or other there, the supervisor. And this is a Platt Truss bridge. Now, Thomas Pratt and his father Caleb were a pair of American engineers, and this design of truss was introduced in 1844. What they basically did was take the Howe truss design and make it a little bit better. And there's still some examples of the steel Platt Truss bridges still standing today, and one of those is the Governor's Bridge in Prince George's County in Maryland. Now this one doesn't have the arches. My gosh, this is a busy road. So when you pull up to the Graham Road covered bridge, the first thing you ask yourself is, why is there a covered bridge sitting in somebody's front yard? Where's the water? Where's the road? Well, to explain all that, we got to go all the way back to the Great Flood of 1913. And that occurred between March 23rd and March 26th. And it was just a regular old late winter, early spring weather system that came across the Midwest and New England. But it was so bad that somewhere between 420 and 470 people in Ohio alone died. And with all the states that were impacted, close to 650 people died. It made some of the recent storms that have gone through New York and New England in the last year or two look pretty much like afternoon showers. So is the climate changing for the worse, or is the climate just going back to the way it used to be? But I digress. I do that a lot. So this particular bridge was actually on a completely different road, on Callender Road, and in 1913 it got completely washed off its supports and ended up down in the river from where it just kind of stayed there for many, many, many years. And when it was about to be pulled out of the river and just torn down and scrapped, the Benson family thought that they should try to save the bridge. So they pretty much financed the whole operation to disassemble the bridge, bring it up to their property, put it back together. They donated the property and the bridge to the Ashtabula Metro Park and saved the bridge, and now it's an official park where anybody can come and visit, and there's even a little picnic table where you can have your lunch. Yeah, nice spot for a picnic. And it's not a dirt road.
How convenient.
Yeah. So apparently they actually moved the bridge off the road. It used to be down here to go across the Ashtabula River, which isn't much of a river all the way up here. It's still a creek. Next time you want to come someplace for a picnic, we know where to come. And you can pretty much ignore all of this stuff I just said on the video because I found out all the correct information later on in our trip. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fun.
Now then, the Root Road covered bridge is still in its original location. It was built in 1868. It's 114 feet long, and it's a town lattice design. And it goes across the Ashtabula River. It was rehabilitated in 1982 to 1983, where they actually raised it 18 inches. And when you go through the bridge, you can see that it also has some laminated girders along each side of the road. And also the center concrete pier underneath the bridge was also added at that time. Root Road covered bridge. Hey, this one even has a sign. Look at that. And if you run into that thing hanging down, you're too tall.
Ruh-roh. Little lilies.
It looks like the Ashtabula River is getting a little bit bigger. Further north we go.
Looks nice and clear.
Yeah. That's a little bent up. Watch where you walk. Amish folk. It is getting bigger. Look at that.
What do you think that wood is up there? It looks like a...
I don't know.
Watch where you walk.
Yep. Now the state road covered bridge, which spans the Conneaut Creek, located in the northern part of Ashtabula County, was actually the first bridge that engineer John Smolin designed and built, and that was erected in 1983. It's got 97,000 feet of southern pine and oak in it, and it was dedicated in 1983, and it was the forerunner of the Covered Bridge Festival here in Ashtabula. And it's either 152 feet long or 157 feet long, depending on which sign you read. So we've only gone 5 miles toward the lake, and look how big the Ashtabula River has gotten. And the end of our second day of bridge hunting brings us to the middle road covered bridge in Conneaut, spanning the Conneaut Creek again. And just for the record, the Conneaut Creek is the longest body of water in Ashtabula County. Now the bridge looks fairly new, and that's because it was rehabilitated in 1984 by 7 volunteers. They did all the work. It's approximately 140 feet long, once again depending on what sign you read. And as you can see there, it is a Howe Truss bridge, and it was originally built in 1868. That one looks fairly new also. So this isn't the Ashtabula River. Correction from the previous bridge too. This is the Conneaut Creek. It's how we do things in Ohio. Creeks are bigger than rivers. Yeah, there's no sign in this one.
What's with all the TV sets?
I don't know. I've seen that in a couple ones.
Yeah.